All right, guys, this is just a super quick rundown of multiplying polynomials for people who've been gone. So we've seen problems with distributing happening where it's set up like this, and all you're really doing is multiplying that 3 through and saying, okay, when I distribute that 3, I get 3y plus 18, and then I add it to this one out here to end up with a final answer of 4y plus 18. Well, you know how to distribute when there's parentheses. So the new added level to this is, what do you do when you actually have two different terms being multiplied by two different terms? If you look at the first example, it's really just one term multiplied by two different terms that you're distributing. But polynomials means there's multiple terms. So that's what's happening here. So the easiest way to do this is to set up like a little multiplication chart. I want to multiply the first two terms, y plus 3, times the second two terms, y plus 6. And so I'm going to set up a little multiplication chart that is a 2 by 2 multiplication chart because I have two terms times two more terms. And then I just multiply through. Y times y is y squared. That's just following that exponent rule where if you're multiplying the same base, you add their exponents. Y times 3 gives you 3y. Y times 6 for this box gives you 6y. And 3 times 6 for the bottom piece of your multiplication chart gives you 18. Basically, what it's letting you do is distribute the y to both the y and the 6. That's what's happening in this row. And then you're also distributing the 3. 3 times the y and 3 times the 6. When you write your final answer, you combine any like terms that you might have. So y squared doesn't have any like terms, but 3y and 6y are like terms. Remember, it's like 3 dogs and 6 dogs, so you end up with 9y. Addition does not change exponents. And then the 18 doesn't have any like terms, so it just stays 18. Okay? So you multiply through a little multiplication chart and then combine like terms if you've got them. So if I have something like 5x plus 1 times 7x minus 3, I have 2 terms times 2 terms. So I'm going to set up a 2 row by 2 column box. And then I'm going to put one of the pieces on one side, 5x plus 1. And the other one is going to go along the top, 7x minus 3. And then I'm going to fill in the multiplication chart. 7x times 5x is 35x squared. X times x is x squared. 7x times 1 is just 7x. Negative 3 times 5x would make negative 15x. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. And again, 35x squared doesn't have any like terms. Combine those two like terms, positive 7 and negative 15 would make negative 8x. And then minus 3 at the end. Okay? If you expand a question, and let's say now I'm doing x minus 3 times, let me go 4x squared plus 2x minus 6. Okay, now I have 2 terms times 1, 2, 3 terms. So I'm going to set up 2 rows by 3 columns. I'm going to put x minus 3 along one side. I'm going to put, I guess I could have actually drawn the columns, 4x squared plus 2x minus 6. And notice how every term gets a section. Like, that's how I'm deciding to split them up into the sections, is the addition, subtraction, separate them. So I get 4x to the third. Then, because x1 plus 2 makes x to the third. Negative 12x squared, 2x squared right here. When I add those two exponents together, negative 6x, negative 6x here from negative 6 times x, and then positive 18 when I combine like terms, 4x to the third is all by itself. I get negative 12x squared, and positive 2x squared makes negative 10x squared. Negative 6x and negative 6x makes negative 12x, and then plus 18. So you kind of start to notice this pattern where the first box and the last box stay the same, and then you tend to mostly have like terms diagonal from each other. So it's kind of a way to check your work, especially with the exponents, is those like terms end up diagonal. So it's short, it's quick. I hope that kind of helps if you're struggling with multiplying multiple terms. Again, it's different than when you're distributing just one thing times some extra stuff. So you've got to look, if it's a multiplication problem and you have multiple pieces being multiplied by multiple pieces, that's kind of confusing. That's how you set it up, is with the box. Hope that helps.